put a photo of you and a photo of your crush, and then it makes them kiss.
You're joking.
They turn together
God. What's
and
that
they
app?
kiss you. Welcome to Confessions of a PT. This week we're going to be talking about AI, the future, and how that possibly links into body dysmorphia. So let's kick us off. AI, good, I know we spoke about this before, but good or a bad thing based on where we're currently at, and where do you see it going?
So I think people think it's the future. It's very much now. I feel like people aren't aware of just how powerful AI is and what it does. But I think you can look at it from two ways, being a positive or negative. But I do think fast forward 5-10 years, there's going to be a lot of people out of jobs. And yeah, I worry about it a lot more than what I let on. And I mean, take for example, like I know Apple are bringing out like a new like personal trainer, like virtual, that will learn everything about like your blood work, scanning, and it's just like, yeah, I'm a bit worried. What about yourself?
I think there's so many different parts to this. There's the, will it take people's jobs? Will we end up like Terminator 2 or like iRobot, where they take over from us? Biggest thing I saw the other day that scared the life out of me is this app where you can put a photo of you and a photo of your crush, and then it makes them kiss.
You're joking.
They turn together.
God. What's that
and
app?
they kiss you.
Just asking for a friend.
If we get to 500 likes on this video, we will do a we will do a Matt Cowell, James McCallion smooch for
God.
Christmas. It scared the life out of me because I was just like, everything from deep fake videos to people accusing their partner of cheating, to why would you even want to do that, to how has someone thought this up, to where do we go from here, was just like, oh my God. And I was just like, that just kind of really made me think about how, because another thing as well, to bring it into kind of fitness, is there the way you can touch up photos, edit videos, put together a bulletproof dating profile of you oiled up and six-packed up, even if you're 30% body fat, there isn't almost any incentive to actually look that good in the real world anymore, or be that real world good. If you've only got people that you interact with online, you don't really speak in person, you're loving how much validation you get from the shredded you on pictures, you almost don't even need to go to the gym, just kind of filter yourself up. And that is harrowing as a thought of where that goes with things like body dysmorphia that we'll probably talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, because that's a real problem.
Yeah, so there's a new type of dysmorphia that's come out this year. Don't know if you've heard about it. Snapchat dysmorphia. Like they put it, so we look at filters and you can tell when someone's heavily edited, right? But it's the subtle ones now that are you won't even be aware of. And Ben Carpenter did a great Instagram reel about it, about how like it just makes your eyes look a little bit more glisten, your teeth are a little bit whiter, you got all your complexions like fine. And that is people's like normal to make them feel more shit about themselves, which is scary, right? And it's just like, that is like more and more common. And you see it, like people filter themselves so much and then they won't even go outside because they've got this projected perceived image of themselves. I mean, I had it with one of these girls who used to date. Like she's a good looking girl anyway, but online she looks incredible. But I know she doesn't look like that. And all the people, it's just like loving her eyes. It's crazy. It's great. There's no limits to it as well. And you touched on like giving yourself six packs, and I had it with someone that I know recently. Again, probably a little bit more body fat than what they'd like to admit, but put a six-pack on themselves on the beach. I'm like, you don't look like that. And it's just all for that quick dopamine hit and that gratification. And something's been massively lost there because they don't have to work for it.
Yeah, I mean, I love a bit of an angle, a bit of lighting, but I've never put a filter on any of my photos for that exact reason. And, you know, one of the reasons, it's so off topic, but one of the reasons is I never did steroids. I never would do steroids, is because
Get the polygraph out. Get a polygraph. I do not believe
it's
it.
because, it's because I always wanted to know where the yardstick is. Do you know what I mean? As to kind of like what is good and what can be achieved. And the minute you take yourself into that different world, you lose the relativity. You know, as humans, we don't care about status, we care about relative status. We don't care about wealth, we care about relative wealth to our kind of our peers and that kind of thing. And when that gets compromised, there is no end of problems. Like, because like you said, like, you know, your self-esteem, you know, well, I don't look like all these images I've seen.
Yeah.
On some level, I understand that no one else does either. But if it's just kind of getting drummed into my brain, like there's these like AI bikini models and that now that aren't actually real women that come into like, you see on these Instagram reels and things like that. And obviously like they look monumental. They're like, there's like absolutely incredible hair, skin, physique, that kind of thing. But if you're a 16-year-old girl looking at that, thinking this is what all the other women look like, your self-esteem and just, you're getting pummeled.
Well, isn't the, again, I haven't got the exact stat here, but the suicide in younger kids, that's meant to be the sole driver of it, isn't it? Like that just perceived. And like when you post a like natural photo, get no engagement, whereas you post a filtered photo, it's like people.
So and it's kind of incentivized 100%. Like to do the. And there's that book, The Happiness Hypothesis, Jonathan Haidt, I think, where he shows the anxiety and depression, literally like 2006 or 2008, like a J curve up, which was the launch of Facebook or MySpace or whichever one came first. So it's literally like, on some levels it's kept the world connected and done good things, but it's caused a lot of problems for a lot of people at maybe some slightly more vulnerable ages. Yeah, I mean, it's just and you can also see as well that like the human inclination is to almost kind of like, again, this is going to be the conspiracy theory hat coming on, but it's almost kind of like, well, it's going to be like, I live in a pod with a microwave dinner that gets delivered to me. I watch my streaming service. I do my avatar online, who kind of goes along and talks to some other people and that kind of thing. You know, I put my ready meal dinner in the bin and I go to bed, and then I wake up and do the same thing again. But my avatar's got wonderful skin, Gucci trainers, is working out, but I, myself, as human physical matter, is overweight, in chronic pain, not at one with nature, not getting sunlight in my eyes, not walking about, not interacting with my community, not contributing to, do you know what I mean? And I'm just this almost kind of like this intravenous drip of dopamine, kind of just like keeping me happy with little bits of ping, someone liked my photo, ping, my pizza's at the door, ping, there goes the microwave, ping, the new series of such and such has just launched.
Yeah. I mean, that,
that's
again,
tragic.
We spoke about like with food corporations being clever. AI is on another level to keep you on Facebook, Instagram. The phone is probably the most addictive thing in the world at the moment. Have you seen that new film with Megan Fox in where she's an AI robot?
No, but I think I saw the advert for that.
Scary, because I reckon, obviously we said about with what you can get on your phone now, but actually having like AI maids or basically robot assistants that will just do everything for you, it's just going to be that whole general movement of you not having to do anything is just
we've got to find a way to kind of reconcile it where all of this technology can be used for the better, because things like your diary being managed could save you so much time. That's so cool. Your tax return being, I mean, maybe not for accountants, old school accountants, but being submitted foolproof, bulletproof, take your seconds, in the right place, no penalties for deadline. Brilliant. I'm brought back more human experience that I can laugh with my mates, I can go and read a book, I can go surfing with that time, you know, that's great. But there's just this dark side of just where we're going to kind of like, we're so in a comfort trap anyway in modern society that's just going to ratchet that up like 100x to the point where we are just I don't know. We always talk about this kind of stuff. We're designed to move. We're designed to be. Mother Nature had ideas before AI that was you're happier when you're looking at horizons, getting vitamin D in you, exercising your body, releasing neurotransmitters from laughing with a friend, doing someone a good deed, hugging a family member, that kind of thing. The minute that starts to go and is replaced with the pizza delivered at your door on that you've ordered from your telly, that's arranged to turn up when the adverts come on for what you've just you're watching, like is sounds like great, but it's like a dirty high.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And it's you get like the millennials and they struggle to even have conversations now. I think that's the thing, like public speaking, everything is just on text, voice note, or even like you said, you can get AI to even send messages for you now that sort of looks like you. But yeah, that deep fake one I think is going to be a very issue, because you get some people, again, might not be mentally well, that want to try and sabotage someone's relationship. It's so easily done. You get the voice recognition of people that sounded like you. I mean, my mum still gets the messages from the pretending to be like a family member saying I've lost my phone and like ring this number. But when they get voice recognition of like ringing banks, it's like, but there's two sides to it, like we said, isn't it? You get like the people that will use it in a positive way, but then the dark side that can be done in astronomical, and it's only going to learn and get better more and more, which is like,
well, there's always that thing in there that I always say that, like, if all of because bank fraud and stuff like that is so sophisticated these days, that if the people that had come up with that put that creativity into increasing positivity for humans, we'd all be on like hoverboards now, with probably world peace, no war, no poverty. But it's almost like there's that evil streak of just kind of like the criminal kind of thing. They think, hang on a minute, voice notes are going round. I could open a trap to trick people into let them give, people with a skewed moral compass. So there will be some probably court cases of people saying, oh, look, this happened. Here's the proof. Here's him saying you did it, and guys, imagine being the first person that's kind of banged to rights on a voice note thing when it just kind of wasn't, like a pioneering case that in 100 years time they'd look back and laugh and be like, well, of course it wasn't him, because we figured out the software wasn't real.
There was one story I heard, again, I don't know if it was real, but like one of the richest banker got done with it first and like thought it was like his person underneath him and got rinsed for like millions. But again, how true it is. What do you think is going to be the first sector to be sort of wiped out? The first by it, if it will happen?
I think it's going to be the boring stuff first. No, like disrespect to people that work in these fields, but things that are very, very analytical, that are formula based, like maths and things like that. If you're a mathematician, good luck, because no one needs you to try and do things that the computer is 500 times more intelligent than. I actually think we will go full circle with it though, and we will really crave human connection. So I think that like people's personal brands, people who are like comedians, things like that, people that give you that human experience will just be even more scarce, and scarce stuff is almost more valuable. So as we get to don't need to leave the house because the food's here, the taxes are done, I haven't got to go to Home Bargains and buy Fairy Liquid because the robot's done the washing up, and hoovered while he was at it, to go to watch a stand-up comedy with humans that are belly laughing, no robots allowed, the guy at the front of the thing is telling stories about, whereas that will be like thriving, because we won't ever not want that. I can't imagine, certainly in our lifetime, maybe in real futuristic times, not wanting that. Do you know what I mean? And that will just get more, we will have to crave that or miss that or get nostalgic about that or realise that was the thing. What about you? What do you reckon? What do you think?
Well, one of my clients, he runs a pharmaceutical company. He's got like a robot like lawnmower and whole cleaner for his house. So it's like scanned his whole house. He can turn it on for like different sections. He can choose how he wants his lawn mowed. It will figure out the weather. And I'm like, how that is mental. But I think graphic design is going to be one of like people to do like product design and all that will be the first thing.
Logos
Anything
and stuff
even
like
around
that.
like logo, all of that stuff that obviously you'd pay like if I think my logo for my brand was like £400-500, and you can get like AI to do that.
Well, yeah, you just say to Chat GPT, or I want this in roughly this, and
Yeah.
I'm a this, so I need it to look like this, and then it's like, and then it kind of like,
But I know with that, if you do the paid version as well, it almost learns you more and more. So it can even give you like projected like things. It's crazy where it's going. But so do you think it will go as far as like the iRobots where it will take over mankind, or what? Well, I think rephrase the question. Where does it end when the amount of jobs that are being lost? Because there's obviously going to be surely a revolt where people can't get jobs and the human race, not extinct. It's probably, well, never say never, but it's a scary thought.
I mean, losing jobs only becomes a problem if people can't sustain themselves. So my worry is a conspiracy theory hat coming back on. You look at COVID, for example. Was that something, a trial run to get people into a universal basic income where they have a wage from the government, where they have credits that they can use for their car, credits for what meat they can buy, and that kind of thing.
Can wipe you out whenever.
And then if you just have a society like that, they don't need jobs, therefore they're not revolting about the fact that they're not doing logos 7 hours a day anymore with an hour's lunch break, because they're sat waiting for the pizza to turn up in the commercial break for the telly that they're watching with the intravenous drip of dopamine, playing with the avatar that's got Gucci shoes on, So they're not actually that fussed that they're not doing the accountant's not doing anyone's tax return anymore.
Yeah.
As long as they don't exceed their meat allowance, as long as that they don't drive any further than Oxford,
Can you see that?
But,
Though, with, like,
you can see it though. Like,
cash is gone.
I mean, since the pandemic,
What was that? I think our audio just went out there.
sorry, Freudian slip there. Since COVID, things have changed a little bit. Cash, in many ways, is almost a dirty word now.
Yeah,
to
it
the
is.
fact that cash is hugely linked to crime. I get that. So you can put a dent in, like the likes of sort of like your real Pablo Escobar type drug dealers' pockets or whatnot. But at the same time, it makes people a hell of a lot easier to control if you know it. And again, if you know where they're spending their money, you can market to them, which means you can have them make sure they get their right flavour pizza that turns up in the adverts of their favourite show.
Yeah, and the jab linked to any other health issue.
So, thanks for watching. We don't want to be taken off air. This is still the fourth episode of the new series.
Still growing.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Love that you can support the channel by liking, subscribing, share these episode with people who you feel might be like-minded and might enjoy it as well. And we will see you on the next episode very soon. Thanks for watching. So my confession this week is a couple of months back, I had a bit of a dodgy stomach, and I was not sure kind of whether things might happen spontaneously in the kind of lavatory department. And I had a few kind of near misses, and I remember saying to my other half later, God, I very nearly shit myself. And I kind of wanted to play up to it just as a joke, really, to kind of make her laugh, but it was kind of true. And she was like, oh, you didn't, did you? Like, kind of. Anyway, so later on in the day, training a client, and when I get people to do the plank, I use my phone as a timer. And I always put it kind of in their view so they can kind of, if they're going to gun, to round it up to the next 30 seconds or something like that. It's motivational for them to keep going longer. There's a woman in a plank position, and then a message pops up from, I normally put my phone on airplane mode, but I hadn't in this instance. And there's a Message from Layla come up saying, I can't believe you nearly shit yourself this morning. With a little poo emoji next to it.
Oh, mate, there's nothing worse.
And I just remember kind of frantically swiping that off the thing, take enough time to kind of read it to be like, oh God, I don't think she saw that because she was kind of looking down at the time. But I was just like, this is why I always put it on airplane mode. Clients do not need to know about the kind of messages I'm getting. I will just use this phone as a stopwatch.
Again, on my son's life, I had a similar sort of experience, but basically, search history, right? You know where I'm going. So we was talking about supplementation. On the topic of creatine, and I was like, give me your phone, and I was like, I'll type in the brand. Anyway, I've put on his website browser and it comes up with like Pornhub. And I've just looked at him and he's looking at me and I'm just like, oh fuck. I was like, the most oh mate, I've never, good category, right? But but yeah, it's just never looked at him the same way. I was like, oh god,
oh god, that must happen before you start to search protein powder and porn comes up. The minute that P goes in there.
Wrong way around. How did I get on there?
Oh,
mate, brilliant.